Hello again. I've been asked to talk a little bit about what role does the editor play in the production of my books. It's an interesting question because most of the time people who haven't been involved in publishing haven't got the faintest idea just how vital editors are. The best indication, I think, is if you go and look at a whole bunch of Kindle books. Now, this is not meant to be an insult to people who self-publish. I've self-published myself. However, one thing a lot of people don't realise is that when their books are refused by a publisher, they automatically have the reaction, well, that happened to J.K. Rowling too, so if I put my book straight up on Kindle, I'll be a multi-millionaire in 3 weeks. Doesn't happen. Usually why an editor rejects a book is because there are so many errors in it. Now, to give an example, if you have a look at all the different books that are free of charge, there's normally a damn good reason why they're free. They're not just being offered free because they're on promotion. Amazon is making a lot of money out of people putting books up and then people buying them for a very, very limited amount of money. But they don't sell very well. And the reason why they don't sell very well is because when people read on the first page there's 3 typos or 5 repetitions of the same word, they're not going to want to carry on reading. That's the first thing an editor does. When I send my books in, I've got my lead editor, the commissioning editor, will have a damn good look through it, and she will decide whether or not the story itself is strong enough. Then it'll go to a copy editor, after I've agreed with whatever the main editor thinks of. Then it'll go to the copy editor, who sorts out grammar, she sorts out any repetitions of words, any repetitions of story, she tightens up the text basically. Finally, when it's gone through those 2 stages, it'll also go to a proofreader, which is another form of editor, someone who goes through all of the text and makes sure that all of the things have been tightened correctly, and basically at that stage it should be a strong enough story, but they're just sorting out any little glitches of grammar and so on. Because if you get a sheet of paper back and there are crossings out all over it, some of them in red ink, some of them in the author's green ink or whatever it may be, trying to figure out sometimes for the typesetters to put everything together, that can be quite hard. But the editor's job mainly is to make sure that whatever goes out is good quality and ready to be read. So for me, any book to a large extent is collaborative. It's a case of getting all the different aspects of the story together, and then for the editor to make sure that she's happy with the way everything goes through. She'll be making sure that the story is well paced all the way through, that there's an equal balance of action scenes from the beginning to the end, possibly that it's building up to a great payoff at the back end of the book. She'll be sorting out all of that kind of thing. So how much involvement does an editor have in producing my books? It's vast. The editor is as important as any other stage, possibly more important than any other stage apart from the actual initial writing of it by me. So that's about it really. How important is the editor? The editor's absolutely crucial, and any author who's sensible will tell you the same thing. The only authors where they know actually that they're a lot better than the editor tend to be the authors who are multimillionaires or millionairesses, and they now think that they don't need the help of an editor because they know their work so well. What that tends to mean is that you can see that there's a curve, that with a lot of authors they start off doing quite well, they start doing a lot better because the editor's had a lot of involvement, and then the quality of the writing slopes off again later on in their career because the editors are now no longer able to have too much input in the way that they go, because if you've got an author who's earning 14 million a year, they don't want to listen to an editor who's paid 80. That's the way that life goes. So thanks very much for watching. I hope that answers the question, and if you like this, don't forget to like it and share it and subscribe to it. Add any comments that you want to at the bottom, and if you've got any interest in writing, publishing or all of those aspects, do please let me know, and I'll be delighted to put up a video around your questions sometime. So I hope that was interesting. Take care. Back to my cider now. Cheers.